Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Killer 7. So we kind of struggled with the last boss fight, and seemingly it kind of felt like when I came into the menu I was resetting the health of the enemy lady with an anime doll head over her head. Now we are going through a secret panel passage in the pool towards the basement, and we're chasing after Pedro. I guess is who we're chasing after. This character really doesn't work greatly. Like, I don't know if we really needed a character and 3D model of a person. It feels more like it could have just been a a simple lock that required a simple key instead of finding soul shells and then giving the soul shells to this guy, which doesn't make any sense unless these are supposed to be references to something else that I just don't recognize, some other Capcom game or Suda 51 experience. If some of these characters were, for instance, in the Silver Case visual novel game that Suda 51 made before that, that might make some sense. Some of this kind of feels like it's a slight reference to just the culture of riding subways in Japan, but when you get to the Coliseum, it's definitely not a subway. And we've been in this Coliseum multiple times now with no enemy. It really just does kind of feel like at some point there will be a boss fight in this Coliseum at the very end of the game. But then we get into the next room, and almost always in the next room there's a new type of enemy. I haven't told a soul. I had to make a promise to keep it secret no matter what. Will you believe what I tell you? Do you promise? The monster doesn't move. But if its neck moves, you're in big trouble. Before you know it, you'll go completely blank. So that doesn't feel like that's much of a hint as to how to take out the next guy. Laser smile. Yeah, well, just shooting him seems to work well. This is weird because we're still, I think, in the gate, and yet we're in kind of like this morgue room that seems oddly not like the gate. So it almost seems like the reason why this whole gate system was made is a way to have rooms or areas that would have been left on the cutting room floor instead somehow squeeze them into the game. But yeah, it probably is also just an indication of the insanity that is taking place in the mind of our main character. We are now entering a stuffed animal room with, looks like Dan is going to be needed to go further. Seems to me like the theme here is we're going to find Pedro or whoever the bad guy is and end up killing him for kidnapping orphans and organs, harvesting their organs, or just being a creepy pedophile around them. I don't think there's really much to do here, and it's not even really worth it to save and just waste the time on that. Are those girls alive? I heard them crying. It must have been forced upon them. The poor girls. The man has a glare in his eyes. A sharp, evil glare. It's scary. You can't trust a man's eyes. You must trust the pigeon. The last pigeon is unique. It's the neck. The neck. Okay. So, is that a hint about the pigeon, or the last pigeon to collect as far as pigeon memos, or is that a hint about how to defeat the guy? Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there was really anything here. In this last pigeon dialogue that would have been anything. So he gets through and nobody else gets through. Be interesting if it turned out that
Danny boy, look at you.
the girls turn into the heaven smiles also, but I don't think that's going to be what happens.
And you've changed a lot too, into an old man. I went to see the devil. Now it's your turn.
Oh, my pupil, so tenacious of life. Guess I have to kill you again.
Shut up, before you run out of breath.
I got rid of those smiles. There's no one to disturb our game. It's just you and me.
Sounds fair, 'cause I hate holding back.
See, I don't know if this guy
fart like yourself
that we're fighting is even the guy who we're supposed to be trying to.
Bullets for you.
Or four for you.
We'll begin when the bird flies. Can you remember that? Pink-ass punk, you're going down.
So it does seem like we're going to shoot when the pigeon flies, and I can't shoot anymore after that. So we have to do this right. So this is just a combo game. I should have saved. So we're not doing charged attacks. We're not doing anything like this. This is just a quick time event. When the pigeon flies off of his shoulder, pull the trigger. And apparently there's a gimmick here where he'll jump up and then land back down. So they little chirp. You kind of have a pretty quick move. I only have to get 4 shots. He said 6. Alright. So this is... And if you just pull the trigger, he'll hit you. So if you're wrong, you'll get shot. There's no pausing, no refilling your life or anything like this. This is just a showdown at the OK Corral. Standoff. Quick draw challenge, I guess. I don't even know if I actually have to hit A. Do they fly after they make the sound? you do have to hit A. So the last pigeon is different. His legs seem to be moving differently. And so once again you have a boss fight that is just a puzzle.
I think this is pretty funny.
You got quite a hobby here, old man.
Was I supposed to be looking at his eye?
What do you think?
I didn't even look at his eyes.
I think what you got here is no
If there was a
different
hint
than
in
what
that.
those guys do at immigration.
All I ever wanted was to shed light on my life.
You have no idea. You're nothing but a sick maniac.
Guess it's time to close the curtains.
Trying to die in style? Give me a break, you sick old man.
So, is that blending him? Or carving him up for organs? Like, it kind of looks like a car washing machine. Then we can see a bunch of bodies of girls, naked I guess, being hung. And I guess those are supposed to be the kids, but they're not really being depicted so much like kids. Teenagers, I would guess. And so he's just gonna get...
Wonderful indeed.
So it seems like he got hung up on his organ processing machine. Why is that called the stuffed animal room? I don't know. We are very much managing to start every new episode with a boss fight, but then the boss fights are really not turning into anything amazing. There is some weirdness around this game. The maidens save the world with their laughter. Because the weird story is slightly intriguing enough to bring a lot of people to keep on playing. Where the gameplay I don't think is really that good. That if there was no story here, or if it was just a much worse story, I don't think that would particularly work. But yeah, it's mostly the mystery boxes, the questions, that is still pulling me to play this game. Is that I want to see what next weird thing gets revealed, and just to get the general story. But there's nothing here as far as the gameplay mechanics and the puzzles that I'm just super in love with. And so I do see... I have a hard time imagining that I would want to play this game a second time. Target for alter ego. What if we don't hit him? Oh, you can't. You have to have the cursor actually on him when you press A to go forward. Now we have a red and white moon or earth. Hard to tell. And we're going to get another flat 2D animation. Seems like they are using the same audio with a different animation for no good reason. Yeah, the fact that I found out that there was a mini series around this in 2018 probably is a better way in which the story would be depicted. Just get rid of the rough gameplay mechanics. But Suda 51, had he not experimented with this, he wouldn't have been a good enough programmer almost certainly to make No More Heroes. And No More Heroes, while still rough in some places, is a pretty decent game that nobody else would have really made other than him. So you really have to applaud the crazy artists out there that want to go in different directions and want to be not mass appeal but niche appeal in their stories. So what are we going to see this time? Flat 2D animation. So here we can see her again abusing him.
Oh, that felt good. Talk about relieving stress.
Does seem to be somewhat
Hey, you.
awake.
What are you staring at? Oh, I get it. You want to take a look, right? Does it turn you on? Does it? Hey, will you stop staring? Jeez, what a pervert.
Yep. Well, at least in that flat 2D depiction, you can see that he was actually awake, whereas in these 3D depictions, he seems to be completely out of it mentally. Like, he doesn't move at all. Although, in all fairness, Garcian really stands pretty still too. We can see the desire of how they would like Samantha to be depicted in 2D is just so much easier to animate and better animated than these 3D models. That outfit looks way worse in 3D, and frankly the character looks completely different and way worse in 3D. So now we've got some Power Ranger cartoon, or a Sentai cartoon. A lot of boob jiggle on the two female Sentai Rangers there.
Reporting live to you now. The reports are just coming in. Steve Thunderson of the Democratic Party has been assassinated during today's Congress session. The assassins appear to be wearing costumes resembling the comic book characters, the Handsome Men. Oh, jeez.
Wonder if the Handsome Men are supposed to be a reference to the Watchmen comic book series. Could be the Watchmen, it could be a reference to some other group of comic book characters, or it could be a Japanese manga reference that has been localized to say comic book character instead of manga. Well, can we now actually wake him up? No. So it does seem like we're just having less and less conversations with Harman. Yeah, and this all just seems like wasted 3D modeling. There's a lot of 3D modeling in this environment that these like refrigerators and 3D objects are not probably getting used very much anywhere else in the game. A better created version of this game would have Capcom have created a very large library of 3D objects and 3D models, and Capcom eventually did get exactly to that.
That mysterious group of guys who call themselves the Handsome Men?
And eventually to the point where you would see Capcom games using all of the same 3D models over and over again.
Anyway, the hype about this comic is that
So those are the Handsome Men, even though two of them are women.
What's that got to do with Thunderson's assassination?
Well, you see, the story in the comic forewarned about the assassination before it actually happened. And 27 minutes afterwards, a news story about Thunderson's assassination was updated in the online game.
Who's the architect behind this?
Well, I know for sure that the bastards at the PR agency, Electro and Line Inc., are trying to buy over whatever character rights they can get a hold of. Not only that, They're spoiling the creative interest of that industry.
So those bastards are the targets?
Actually, the target is the comic book writer Trevor Pearl Harbor. He's got a place down in the Dominican Republic where he does his thing. Now, sometimes you have to take the strong arm approach.
Got it.
Oh, and before I forget,
I wonder if these cutscenes
the latest issue
are
was released
from the
today.
2018
Last week it ended with
anime
Thunderson's
series,
assassination. Now, according to the last issue,
and that they were
there's
added
supposedly a new
in a
enemy appearance
remastering
here.
of this game.
Our master. He's...
Turned into a monster. Hey, wait a sec. This means that the next target is gonna be the killer7.
That kind of would make sense. Then potentially what would have happened otherwise in the original version of this game is instead of seeing those flat 2D cutscenes, you would have seen a lot of wall of text. That is somewhat believable, but I can't confirm it. I can only really speculate that that might be the case. On the other hand, it would be nice if the 2018 killer7 anime, Wandering in the Republic of Light and Shadow Dominican, assignment number 38, kill the comic artist Trevor Pearl Harbor in secrecy. I kind of hope that the 2018 anime would look better than that, but yeah, depending on your budget, it may very well come out like that, and depending on your nostalgia, that may be exactly how Suda51 would want it to look. You definitely wouldn't make an anime around these 3D models. So we've got another level. This is it. Yes, this. The site I've yearned for. So much awaiting R&R. Some much awaited rest and relaxation. But we must not let our guard down. The enemy has footholds even here. The terrors grip the world. Heaven Smiles has reached calamity status. Must stay vigilant in the name of Harman. I've said Heaven Smiles this whole time. It may actually be Heavenly Smiles. I'm not even reading it. I'm just trying to kind of speed read the whole thing. Alright, and so we are back as Dan. Then you've got another cutscene. Some of this definitely should be walk and talks.
I'm getting by.
Wow, Dan looks way different.
Here's something extra. Let me sing you a song. A song for travelers. This is a lost city. You must find the key. For your tranquility.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you'd have a musical section here just for this game.
Guide to your soul, find your place, then you'll find your way. And if I don't, the darkness will swallow you, and you'll become a resident of the City of Smiles, where eternal darkness rules all. When I'm gone, sing me that song, will ya?
Yeah, that just does not feel in line with content that you would have wanted to make at that time. So, it looks like there might be some kind of icon that indicates something. But I don't know what it is. Look at what I found. I stole it from a defeated female officer drone. Of course, she'd rather have me steal her. Use this at the artist's mansion. The mask is hot, 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 I tell you. In the name of Harman. So we now have a color sample. And we're just straight up getting items from our guy. if the general idea here is that you are supposed to have some music going on, then it does seem... Yeah, almost messed up there. We only have Dan and Mask and Calm unlocked to start. We also have like 3 color samples. Let's see. And so we're gonna get another color sample. These, please collect these. The creator's soul lies in here. They always came up with a very solid lock. To break it, you need these. I'm sure they'll come in handy. I'll go ahead and begin searching. Leave it to me just this once. I'm the hero this time. Interesting. That close zoom in also shows that his eyes seem to be stitched closed. This would be a level where divers probably would play a big role. It's probably not anything super new here. We have Laser, which we already have run into him, and probably won't see him again. A lot of these hints come after the fact, so they're useless. Fire lasers from afar. Now this is quite a foe. There's no escape from this bugger. After firing, they self-destruct. Make sure they're destroyed. Each of these levels kind of come off like they're going to be shorter than the last, but they really aren't. Then the roller rolls like a maniac, and that just can't be healthy. Put its rolling spree to an end with a hit to its weak point in the name of Harman. Let's see. Just go ahead and make some more serum while we're here. We're getting large amounts. I guess the question is, does that combo end? Need to kill 8 more. Then wake up some of these other characters. Should I upgrade that guy? Or should I still try to get everything up to 3? I think I'm still trying to just get everything up to 3. Balance it out. Too often you run into a situation where you need to play as another character, so you can't commit. Okay. So I guess there's just 2 doors this way. And this is like the first level in that there's just a lot of hallways and turns. It's just now that we're outside. I'm just gonna assume that this is the right direction. If it is the wrong direction, well, you know what we should do is we should probably just go through here and see if both directions are valid, because I bet one of them isn't. Meanwhile, this gives us a fine excuse to grind. I suspect this door is locked. It's locked from the other side. Okay. So there's only one direction you can really go here. That was my suspicion. If these characters ran just a little bit faster, you could run through each of these levels fairly quickly. Yeah, we're going to have another color piece. We made it a deal with an infamous quack. Life is only what you bargain for. Use it at the artist's mansion. What's that? Oh, this. It's called a lost city. Go this way and that, but you're bound to end up where you started. Find your way around using sound. This is a job for the punk. In the name of Harman. So it does seem to me. How did that guy get me? We might have a magical spiral area that just goes around in circles. And his headphones might play a role now. Right. So each of these alleyways interesting. So there's a little audio thing here. And you probably just wouldn't see this audio spiral.
Dangerous.
So, kind of a gimmick here, and kind of a trick, which if we figure out the solution to this gimmick and this trick, then this may not be, there may just not be that much game here, or there might be just a whole nother section to this. Yeah, this doesn't seem particularly like a great setup now for Garcian, in that he's taking damage also.
I can feel no remorse in seeing a dead body. To me, it's merely cold, rotting flesh.
There's kind of nothing more you can do. I will say, I suspect that for this level, the musical element is playing a bigger role. So that is probably exactly how this was intended to play. Just go back to stamina Or you know what, let's go to power. We got a stamina ring and a power ring, and neither one of them seem to really do anything. Okay. Really don't have enough thin blood to recover from that. And if I was supposed to use my thin blood ability, the other guy is the laser guy on the cart. Yeah, I'm not sure how they even defeat that enemy. Am I supposed to just counter that enemy?
Don't make me say it again. I'm a cleaner.
Yeah, and this is weird. Like, you have to have this guy.
I'm a cleaner. I can feel no remorse.
Obviously, this highlights a issue with this game in that.
Destiny.
Let's see if we can pick somebody else up.
Wait here.
I don't know why I specifically would want to play as her even, but let's just play as her. Now that she's awoken. Like, you can't have a gameplay mechanic here. She has yet a different color dress covered in the same bloodstains. You can't have a
Doesn't it?
You can't have a gameplay mechanic where a character disappears or gets defeated, and then you have to use the other characters to defeat them. Am I supposed to headshot that guy? No. I'm gonna just try, since it doesn't seem like you can.
Hurts, doesn't it?
I'm gonna see what happens if we just get to the end of this alleyway first. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just supposed to run past those or what. What's not happening here is
Hurts, doesn't it?
Like, we should be close to the end, and we're not getting enough of an opportunity to. Just not getting enough opportunity to build up blood, so kind of feels like this would be a decent place if you just wanted to grind out thick blood and thin blood, but you'd have to have a character that. No, I'm just gonna. That didn't do anything either for me.
Doesn't it?
Alright. At this point, it does just seem like I've gone in circles. Like, we should be at the end of the map if this is going to be it. It sounds to me And see, he's not the one that goes invisible either, so yeah, I may have to look up a walkthrough again to figure out how this is really supposed to play. Unless I'm just supposed to run through the yellow areas, which is possible.
Look, I'm a cleaner. I can feel no remorse when seeing a dead body. To me, it's merely cold, rotting flesh.
I guess the question here is, could we possibly get our guy pumped up a little bit better? And maybe we should use the stamina blood. Stamina ring. I mean, we can get the criticals up, but nothing here is really going to help. Taking less damage. Stamina ring. Alright. So my guess is possibly we're supposed to head towards I guess I'm supposed to hit him in the hand, which, okay, we'll learn that lesson.
Dangerous.
See, his attack seems to be some kind of area effect attack. So, go through this one. And then I want to go that way. But now we have thin blood because we've actually succeeded. Plus, seemingly, we don't have to be in such a bad position. Yeah, we don't have to refill our health as much with the stamina ring. Oops. So now things are all of a sudden working. The real question though is, which way to the circle? Let's go this way. So I guess this is the one we want to go through. And then go this way. So we're just following the circle, and we're just hoping that the circle is right. If the circle isn't right, then obviously we are probably supposed to take the path that is not the circle. But the good news is this is working. So we now have a gate and we don't see anything else. So I'm gonna assume that this is the way to forward. Now we have roller smile. And we got the critical, got kind of lucky there. That is not what I was expecting as far as the roller smile. I was expecting just another ball-like character. And we're in another area, so the wandering streets, I imagine we're going to unlock a shortcut and never go into the wandering streets again. Ideally, that is what I would like to see. I probably should have woken up some other characters. But weirdly, this still doesn't feel like a game that like, it doesn't feel like the combined health of all of the characters is necessary to beat any levels, or even really what they want you to have to worry about. If that was the way the game was designed, you wouldn't be able to revive any of the characters, and maybe in a New Game Plus that's exactly how it plays, is that you can't revive any characters, but or that doesn't really make any sense either. The way they are revived is strange, in that you're being revived back to the beginning of the last checkpoint. We've got a lamp. Strange flame indeed. Let's see if we can try the water ring. Let's see if we can try the fire ring. Nope. Does any character have anything special that they could do around a strange flame? Well, if it would be anybody, it would be maybe Dan. Doesn't seem like that's the case. You can see there are several people that way. Nobody that way. Let's go check out this alley. And we'll just take these out slowly and carefully. I guess these guys move fast enough that that could have been a problem. Alright, let's go this way. We'll try and shoot this, but that doesn't seem like that's what we were trying to do. So once again, this is a path that either is Kaede, who would have had to have been woken up, or is the other character who would have had to have been woken up. So we'll try Kaede and see if her blood ability somehow destroys this barrier. Remember, we got this whole like demon gun that we found in the middle of 2 levels prior, and the game really didn't explain itself as to what finding that demon gun was all about. What a pain in the butt. What with the design of the studio, the editors can't even get near it. Talk about putting on airs. Needs to know his place. If you want to get to Trevor's studio, I'll tell you straight up, you gotta collect color samples with a fancy selection of hues. The door contraption will open. The chief keeps a ledge, right? He'd be perfect for the job. Just a guy for running errands. I don't know which character is supposed to be the ledge character. Just make sure that there's see, that's another great example of like critical lock not actually working. Maybe this guy is the ledge master. This is it. Look what I found. Stagnation youth held on for the death life. One really must live for the moment. Use it at the artist's mansion. Barefoot is ready and raring to go. In the name of Harman. Barefoot is the name of Kaede, nickname of Kaede. Not supposed to shoot these lanterns, even though that would be a tempting shot. Nothing for shooting. Well, you know what? There is oddly a target in the sun. When... Let's see, is there anything other than the sun in the sky that would be a target? I wonder if there's some kind of secret around that. Seems like you probably have to shoot the sun a lot. But it definitely is an object that's getting locked onto, where all these other 3D models aren't locked onto. What's funny, though, is if these were the beginnings of Capcom's library of 3D models, these were not the models that are used later on. There's Resident Evil 6 is kind of a great example of just using their library of, at that point when Resident Evil 6 came out, a very old collection of 3D models or flat 2D texture models, and it looked pretty awful. Yeah, that critical lock not really working anymore, if it ever did. And you can see her in a different pose, Samantha in a different pose and a different outfit. We have gotten far enough ahead now where we aren't spending every single entrance of one of these checkpoints to learn or relearn something.
Don't make me say it again.
And let's see.
Destiny.
Just trying to get everything up to 3, I think, is our first move. We need to awaken Coyote also. So now he has double tap. We'll just go ahead and awaken everybody.
Shit. Fuck it.
Really does just boil down to getting everybody up to level 3 should have been my goal, instead of raising up Kaede past level 4 to level 5, because we're just not really getting enough of a benefit from that. But the game is going to get... The game must be a lot longer than I would think, because there's still a lot of thick blood you would really have to collect.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's see.
Hurts, doesn't
I
it?
guess the trick here is you've got a left trigger, press A, left trigger, press A, left trigger, press A, left trigger, press A.
Hurts, doesn't it?
And even at that, it's very noticeable how that took multiple attempts. And it's really just because of her speed that we were able to make that level of progress. Looking at the way this level is split up, it does seem like there's probably 8 different small sections of rooms. Obviously, if this was a modern game, there would be a much bigger map with more going on in each section of the world. You would be controlling your character and wandering around freely instead of being on rails and just holding the A button to go forward and the B button to turn around. I don't know if there really is a huge value in potentially remaking Killer 7 into just like a completely different game to tell the same story and really just kind of crush the nostalgia of people who would have played the original version of the game. But yeah, if you're going to make a full-on remake, you'd probably want to change quite a bit from this game. And yeah, that probably would work. It almost, though, would feel more logical if you just put the events and stories of Killer 7 into a Killer 7 reboot that also was half of the old game and half of a new game, a sequel effectively. So just like Killer 7 Act 2 as a concept, and I bet the story makes it difficult to make an Act 2. One of the things that is noticeable compared to his later game, No More Heroes, is that you do still mostly go around hallways that are just linear paths from point A to point B. But in No More Heroes, there aren't any puzzles, there aren't really any collectibles that are keys to unlock other areas, and it tries to have a much higher action experience and get to boss fights that are actually boss fights, even the boss fights that do have like puzzles around them in which ways you can do more damage. They tend to be boss fights where you could not figure out that puzzle and still defeat the enemy, whereas a lot of these boss fights you have to figure out the trick or you were just going to fail. Also, No More Heroes is more of a lightsaber sword swinging game, so it doesn't really have... If it has guns in it, the guns are super weak and not the main weapon, but I don't think it actually has any guns in it at all. We are, I think, starting to see a bit more of an uphill climb to just maintain interest in this game. Like it is getting a little repetitive, a little grindy, particularly running through the wandering streets and just dying multiple times over and over again was not fun. There's no way seemingly to improve the stamina other than wearing the stamina ring of the character or improve the defenses of the characters. So I could see somebody having a lot of trouble in the wandering streets and getting frustrated and quitting. And there's been a couple points earlier in the game where I could see you potentially just having difficulty. It would be very interesting to see somebody try and speedrun this game without doing any of the upgrades. That almost certainly would not work too, but yeah, there are, since there's so much experimentation and different types of encounters and gameplay mechanics in this game, at any point somebody could get frustrated and not succeed. Even the little car mini game where you had to move the cars out of the way in the last level, like somebody may have potentially rage quit on that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.